Hey everyone, welcome back to yet another video. Today we are going to recap the Super Bowl of the 2025 NFL season. Now, before we get into it, I want to preface that, yes, it is coming on Wednesday. As we go into the off season, we all doing Wednesday videos. And next week we'll finally get to the coaches. Every single one of them has been hired now. I waited on doing that a little bit, but it'll finally come this upcoming in next week. But after the coaches, comment down below what you want me to do. I don't exactly know what I'm doing right now, so comment down below any ideas that you would have. But yeah, let's get into it. As it's the Seahawks won against the New England Patriots 29-13. As for Seattle, it was a lot of. Let's just say this: for either team, the defense just absolutely did well each of those first three quarters. Yes, it was only a 12-0 score heading into the fourth quarter. So the defense absolutely played well throughout the entire game. Now, let's start off in my usual looking at how each player did with the Super Bowl MVP of Kenneth Walker, as he had 27 carries with 135 yards, for an average of 5 per carry. Very much deserved, especially when there was nothing else going on in offense, as Sam Darnold only ended up having 202 yards of 38 attempts, completing 19 of 38 for 50% completion percentage, and only getting a touchdown. Now, Kenneth Walker was potentially snubbed of a touchdown due to a penalty against the Seahawks, but that would have just capped off his MVP in one for the game. But hey, you know what? It was a penalty. He still ended up getting the MVP. But let's also talk about how Jason Myers went 5 of 5 for the Seahawks. I think he was incredibly in the running for those first three quarters, because he got every single point for the Seahawks to those first three quarters. And then the offense finally got one. The defense ended up getting one. And from Nwosu to a May interception. But hey, you know what? That was a great defensive performance for Seattle, as they ended up getting 3 turnovers, 1 fumble, and 2 interceptions. But outside of those 2 interceptions, Drake May did not play all too bad himself. 295 yards of 43 attempts and 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good outside of those 2 picks. So, and it was actually good enough to where Drake May ended up having a higher rating than Sam Darnold did by the end of the game. However, what I think cost of Patriots offense a lot of the time was indeed their run game, because May himself got 37 yards off 5 carries, but you had 42 yards off 13 carries between Rhamondre Stevenson and TreVeyon Henderson. So the Patriots probably need to work on their run game over the offseason in order to be even better for next season. And that's all I really have to say with the run game, because it generally was not great. And in terms of the actual receivers, and for the quarterbacks, so leading receiver the entire game was Matt Collins with 78 yards, and he also got a touchdown as well. And Rhamondre Stevenson also did get a receiving touchdown. Stephon Diggs was relatively quiet, and this was his first Super Bowl, actually. Since he was on the Vikings, the Bills, the Texans, this is his first one, as well as Sam Darnold. And then And for the Seahawks, you had Cooper Kupp being the reception leader over there for 6 receptions into 61 yards off 12 targets. You had AJ Bonner with the touchdown, 54 yards off 4 receptions. And Jake Brown was pretty quiet in 27 yards off 4 receptions, but he did have Christian Gonzalez and was all over him. And so, hey, you know what? I'm not going to complain. Because when you face a top defender, your top receiver is going to be quiet. So, so I absolutely respect how it was like the wide receiver 2s. But was Mac Hollins a 2? I'm not entirely sure. I know Stephon Diggs is definitely like up there. I don't remember if he's like the 1, but he definitely is up there. But Mr. Jigba is truly the number 1 for Seattle. He was quiet, but when you have 2 great defenses, you're not gonna see a lot of passing game, and it ended up being the team with the better rushing attack that ended up winning the game. So, yeah, I think this was a pretty good game overall. It was rather boring in those first 3 quarters with like punt. But, yeah, it overall was incredibly good. And even though it's not my cup of tea of music, Bad Bunny also did do pretty well as well. And with that, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys liked it, please make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.